get off your phone.
All right, we'll call the meeting together to order at 7:13. Sorry, I was over meeting with Lindy on the way. Sorry we're late. No flag, so we'll...
There's one there in the box.
Oh! Oh, I took it off the agenda because we didn't have a flag.
Yeah, we have a flag. Say the pledge of allegiance. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
I'll put it back on you.
Thank you.
I took it off because we don't have the luxury of not doing an agenda item. Last time it was there.
Yeah, we have to share my phone. I was just doing one of those like monitors to the wall. I can't hold a regular flag. You can't.
You know what?
Ethan got it from Todd when he was our assemblyman. I think he came from
Okay, so we all go back to the rules that we talked about when I got on the board about 3 years ago. And after last month's meeting, I thought maybe we should kind of go over them again. So it's no yelling at all. Everybody talks, they address the board. You don't get to talk among each other, or argue back and forth with each other. We need to have a civil meeting. And we can get all excited about stuff, but we have to have a civil meeting. Okay, everybody okay with that? And we won't all be happy all the time, and we'll just have to make it work. And we're a community, and I've seen a lot of emails going out, and that's what we are. And so, okay, so public comment is everybody gets to ask anything they want about something that's not on the agenda. And does anybody want to talk about something that didn't make it on the agenda? Jake.
I have one, just to put it out there to the community. I normally have a lot of raccoons around my area, and I have only one left around my area, and he's very sick. So I don't know if anybody else has noticed that in their areas, but I don't want to see the wildlife dying off, and I don't know if somebody's poisoning them, or if we've got some disease running in the canyons. Connie has mentioned that before too. So
I've seen them move around. We had them in Mine Track years ago, lots of them, and then mountain lions started showing up, and they went elsewhere.
Well, I have one that is still coming to my back door, and he is definitely sick. So there is something else other than mountain lions. I mean, I know mountain lions.
We had 3 big ones, but they're not there anymore.
We have a lot of coyotes lately.
Yeah, I saw one today.
So maybe they could be getting rabies or something from the coyotes. I don't know.
They're sick.
I saw a coyote just over here on my way into that.
Oh, we see them.
Yeah, but that wouldn't account for them being sick.
Anybody else seen animals, dead animals, or sick animals out? We just had a fox die in the yard up at my old house. So.
There's been some foxes up the hill that died from being
Died.
sick.
Yeah, so I know that one got sent to the autopsy, but I haven't heard anything back.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Someone said
That's
something
what the
about
people
that.
think happened.
What, they got autopsies?
They think they took it, are going to autopsy it, but maybe that's just a nice story.
I've heard predators sometimes eat sick animals that have been poisoned, and rat poison
Yeah, that's
can
what Connie
spread
was mentioning.
from a rat to a predator that lives near your home or whatever.
Yeah, I know Connie's email was talking about could we all look at what we're putting out to kill the rats that are eating our jacuzzis off and our houses, but think about what would be better. So.
Yeah.
Go for snakes.
I would think that there would be a contact with those 2 parks that maybe we could talk to. Maybe they're seeing trends somewhere else that we could talk to and see.
Somebody want to, you guys talked about it at ICL at all?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I can certainly bring it up with OC Parks. I've been working with them closely with the whole school thing anyway, so I'll ask.
Thank
Actually,
you.
I need to talk to Stacy anyhow, so I'll ask.
Oh, it is.
Any more on animals?
You know, I think Connie actually was in contact with them too, because Connie said that if you had an animal that was sick or you should contact her. I think she was in contact with them and they wanted to know.
If somebody gets something, would you put it out on one of the news things so we can all hear?
There was an article in the Register probably a month or so ago about meningitis in the wild animals.
Really?
And animals dying. And I did forward it to Connie, and she said she was going to try to find out more about it, but it's orange crown vector was the one that was
Okay.
being quoted.
Oh, Vector,
Yeah.
where we would want to go
Okay.
for this.
Maybe someone wants to call Vector and put an email out to the group.
Actually, our neighbor is that, it works for that.
Oh, Vector.
I'll ask her.
Okay. There were some more hands for public comment in the back. Yeah.
I am the den leader for my son's Cub Scout. We have the Tiger Cubs, 7-year-old boys. And we are looking to use the Modjeska Community Center once a month for about a 45-minute meeting and talk to you about that, I think, on the phone.
Right.
And we were just wondering if we could have the fee waived for,
Because you're a public group.
because we're a public group. It's just once a month.
I think we do that, Greg, for the Girl Scouts, so that.
Yeah, I think we do that already.
Okay.
So Steve or Shay or your contact to set up the time, so.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
on the Google
Shane said
Calendar
it's already
right
on the
now.
calendar. I just didn't know what the next step. I wanted to make sure we had it all official and
Especially you might, weekly or monthly?
monthly.
You might want to check it out. It's pretty cold there. You might have to go over a little early and turn the heater up.
Yeah, the boys keep moving. So
Okay.
we don't have a problem. We just put on extra sweatshirts.
For 7-year-olds.
They don't sit
Yeah,
still very
it's
long.
not working for me anymore, obviously, so. Any more public? Yes.
Mine's on the same lines. I'm gonna be trying to rent the Modjeska Community Center once a month on an ongoing basis for a private lesson that I'm gonna be giving to a college student. And I only need it for 2 hours at a time, and your thing is for 4 hours. So I'm wondering, can I get the hourly rate of $7 an hour versus the 4-hour block?
Why don't you talk with Steve and Shay, and I'm sure they work something out with you.
Okay, because they both told me to come here.
This is the first time we've seen you.
It's in the middle of the day on a weekday that's not.
It's smack in the middle of the day on a Tuesday, third Tuesday of the month.
I mean, especially if nobody else is using it.
Nobody, yeah.
I'm gonna start.
More public comments? Non-agenda items? Okay. We have minutes for a meeting.
I want to say something important. Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule this week to come to this meeting. Hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family, and thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate it.
We got minutes.
Yeah, everybody good with the minutes?
Consent calendar,
Okay, there's the consent calendar. Anybody have anything that they'd like to pull off the consent calendar? Is there a move to accept the consent calendar?
I make a motion to accept the consent calendar as presented.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Unanimously. Treasurer's report.
I actually got one together this month. I've been driving Megan crazy trying to get all the numbers and figure out what everything's going on. We actually got in a pretty big sum last month, some of the FEMA stuff, OSHA, not OSHA, but some of the Galena stuff. So we're doing pretty good. We have a balance total all in the 333 and 45. It's been going down the last few months, so I don't want to, that looks like deficit spending, so I don't want to say that we're going to go crazy with this amount of money. It's better than we've had for a long time. So Megan has given me an income report. We get revenue from tax revenue from about 10 different sources, and I'm trying to get a trend of where they all come from. I actually have a call in with the county finance director to get him to sit down with him to understand everything as much as we can. When we got the 98,000 back in 2011, I thought it was actually going to a new account, but Megan says it wasn't. So I need to understand what's happening there. The summary is the only thing that's on the packet here, but the full report is in the agenda packet on the website. So the full report for the Children's Center, the SMRPD, Christmas in the Canyons. So if anybody wants to dive into those numbers, they're there. But it's unaudited, so if you find something, let us know. If something doesn't look right, just let us know.
All right, thank you. Lindy, would you like to give us an update on what's happening at the Children's Center?
Am I addressing you, or am I turning
Oh, no, you can address everybody.
I just want to make sure I got the protocol down. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks. Good to see everybody again. Can I just over here? Is that okay? Okay. This way I'm kind of like there and there. Well, as I believe that you're aware, I did a report for Greg, and it was basically, you know, what did I find when I got there, and what is the standard of what should be happening and what should be going on in a children's center, and then steps to make changes. And I'll pass out. Thank you. I'm going to keep one just in case there's a question. There you go. Thank you.
Here's another one for people.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, you know, you can look at it at your leisure, or I don't know if Greg's going to put it online. But the great, you know, when I was first here, you know, I sort of had an idea of what needed to be done, but once you get in, then you get a clearer picture as to some of the adjustments that need to be made. And I broke those down into 3 parts. One was the physical environment. The second was office and billing and all of those protocols. And the third was safety, not necessarily in that order. And there's been some great things happening. It's an amazing community, as you all know. Excuse me. And the help that's been coming forth has been great. In terms of physical changes, the preschool classrooms have been painted. They look fresh, thanks to Peterson Painting and the volunteers that Cressa got from the basketball team, which was so great. We've gotten rid of lots and lots and lots of things, and part of that's a safety thing, and part of it is it's old, it's broken, it needs to go. So that's been, and there's actually on December 2nd, the rest of the things, if you've seen the Children's Center that's out front, those are going to be picked up December 2nd, hopefully. Good. Yeah, I know. I've gotten lots of clutter out, which has made a huge difference, I think, both inside classrooms and in the yard. We have new wood chips. We said we got this report from it's in there. What's that name of that? I'm blanking out.
You mean the state?
Yeah, not SEC, but I mean not the state licensing, but the insurance person that came out.
Yeah,
oh, it's not in here, but you've got the report. Yeah. Anyway, and she cited some significant safety concerns. Some of which have been addressed. We've got new wood chips. We said we need wood chips, and I closed my eyes, and all of a sudden Shay had wood chips delivered and donate. So it was like that fast. We need the sidewalks evened out outside, the siding. I think that report is public, so you can read that. But it kind of, you know, it wasn't. The woman came as part of her routine, you know, checkup. But it was a good thing because, you know, that's what we were there for, was to make some of those changes. So those things are being addressed or have been addressed. And let's see, what else? The classrooms have been professionally cleaned. They're being kept up professionally cleaned a couple times a week, which is really great. We've gotten some new materials. And what's even more exciting is that I think that there's great energy. The staff is, I've been away and I came in today and I had to go show Greg because I walked in a classroom and this teacher had created this whole new, inviting area and it was like, wow, it looked so great. And, doing things outside, and so to see that energy is really great. The staff that is there, I have to just say, it's just been a pleasure. Excuse me, it's really hard to find staff that philosophically are on the same page. The way they talk to children is just exemplary. They're teaching kids what they need to know and how to get along in the world. And so I've just been really impressed. And having said that also, I have to say out loud that Jenny Scott really, the reason that the preschool and the school age program has been going is because of her. She has really kept that program going in terms, the consistency. She's, helping, doing payroll and scheduling and all of those things. Something that I couldn't take on because, as I told you before, I was going to be away, sporadically. So I just need, when you see Jenny, or if you see Jenny, it's worth remarking that she really has been the consistent, steady flow there and keeping things going. With regards to the office, there were files from, 1996, and stuff forever ago. And after checking with Megan to make sure that we could get rid of what we could get rid of, that's all been collected and it's going to be shredded tomorrow. We have somebody coming. The files are locked, which is a requirement that for some reason wasn't there. So that's going on. And then I spent a lot of time trying to change the paperwork, meaning, there really was no accurate accounting for when kids were coming, how many days they were coming, how long they were there, comparing that to what their tuition that they were paying. So, and that's kind of a long process because kids weren't on consistent schedules. So I created a different paperwork that I'm slowly getting back from parents, where they are acknowledging that they're committing to, this is the program that I signed up for, this is my monthly tuition, this is what it's going to cost me if I'm there extra hours. Yes, please come drop in. It's going to cost you a day. So all of those things are trying to be made a little clearer. And just in quickly going through things, and just by going through sign in, sign out sheets, I found where kids were coming 4 days a week and being charged for 2 days a week, and that's really important. So hopefully, and again with that paperwork, it's a system where we have a list of kids that are coming, we have their parents' names, we have every phone number that their parent can be reached at. So that was really important. And then with those, there were lots and lots and lots of files of paperwork that was missing out of children's files. And I know that that's no fault necessarily of anybody. You just have to stay on top of it. So I actually went through those and identified which kids were missing which forms. Those have been sent out. Some have come in. They're coming in, slowly, but they're coming in. A lot of reminders, email reminders. I created paperwork to explain to parents about the necessity of having earthquake or kits. There's no earthquake kits at the school, and that's troublesome. So we've been receiving money. Either I gave parents the choice of buying a kit for $20 or creating one with a list of suggestions. So I think we've probably taken in, I want to say, I don't know, $140, $160. So I'm in the process of ordering those and creating a safety protocol. First aid backpacks in every classroom. Am I getting too detailed, or is this okay?
I'm finding it very exciting.
Okay, very good. So in terms of the paperwork and just getting documentation, a form where a protocol where teachers, the program is on the sign-in, sign-out sheet. Therefore, if Sally shows up on Wednesday and she's supposed to be there on Tuesday, the teacher can highlight it, we can go back and look at it, and we can charge accordingly. So I think that that's going to help us to at least get the correct revenue and also to staff appropriately. Because, there's, how do you know when you don't know who's going to show up? So, so that's what we're working on, and now I'm starting to really bug people about getting them. Yes?
I don't understand that none of this was in place before, because when my kids were there years ago, we had all that stuff in place. So what happened?
So what happened? I'm sorry?
What happened? All this stuff
It went a different direction, and she brought it back to where it was when she had children there. We did have more committed
it was very structured, and we always knew we had schedules, we always knew who was going to be there, who wasn't, how many days, the first aid kits, for example, they were,
When the school closed and enrollment dropped and the economy and everything, Amy tried to be more creative on how to keep children in the program, and it became very lenient, and it became practically a drop-in for a lot of families, and it wasn't working for us, and Lily's bringing it back, and it's a welcome change.
Yeah.
Thank you. I understand that people need flexibility. We have a family where, shared custody, and, maybe, as long as we know that ahead of time, then at least we can staff appropriately. But that shouldn't be the way things are, And I don't think, and it's a hard concept where, I didn't come, my child wasn't there on Tuesday, so I brought him on Wednesday. That's kind of been the attitude, and like Shay said, Amy got very creative, which was great in trying to bring in whatever kind of revenue that she could, and I did the same thing at my school, before when the economy tanked, and you try to figure it out so that you can get whatever you can get. To me. And I think it's like I said we've had a couple of staff meetings now, and this last one, I said to the staff that they are too talented for this place to be a daycare, a drop-in daycare. They're talented educators, they're qualified educators, they have great ideas, and so to move from a more structured, it really gives the difference between being a daycare and being a school. And, we talked a little bit at this last staff meeting about curriculum, but we haven't gotten a real, dive in on it. But there's, some good ideas, I think, on bringing some more of those, school-age kids back. All those 7-year-old Boy Scouts, I want them at the school. So we need to, tap into the community and invite them back if they've, and I don't know. The marketing thing's going to be coming, and I think come January, I think some kind of open house or something like that will be in order. So, and we'll need all of you to, promote that and tell them some great things that are happening. Greg and I were talking about hopefully maybe in January or something holding your meeting at the school so that you guys. I'm sorry. Oh, you have to bring. That's a very good point. Bring your own chair. That's right. I like that. You're absolutely right.
Throw away every broken chair.
Yeah. But that way you can see it and welcome, your suggestions and your input. Well,
hello.
How are you?
Good. How is everybody?
Good. I had Joel's daughter at the school where I was, so it was when she was little. So it was like, whoa, hi. And then the third thing was, the safety, which I mentioned about the backpacks and getting all of that so that we're good to go. The staff, I mentioned that we've had 2 staff meetings. We're planning to do a staff development day where the whole staff, can come in and we can all work in the classrooms. We can then talk about there's, there could be 15 of these days, but trying to pack in and prioritize what's, we want to get those, the classrooms are looking really good, I think, wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, the school age room is night and day in my opinion, you know, and it's, and that was all done just repurposing things that were there. You know, the things that we've purchased have been, hopefully, you know, get some bang for your buck. You know, more bigger, prominent things. They need some more manipulatives. You know, there's stuff that they need. But you know, the organization is getting in there, and I feel like it's, you know, we're on a good track.
What is the attendance, Lindy?
The attendance is about, depending, about 14 preschoolers and about the same school age kids. You know, it's, you know, I've said that, you know, I guess, you know, I'll be the bad guy, but, you know, you know, I got an email today that somebody is going to change because, you know, a job situation, which I totally understand. But what I'm trying to change the mindset is, you know, when you sign up, you're making a commitment, and that's how you staff. And trying to explain that this is a tuition-run school, and that is that when people do not pay their tuition, then you can't make payroll. And, you know, everybody can relate to that in their own work, wherever they are, you know. So I'm anticipating that, you know, come January, I'll have everybody, existing kids' paperwork. Whatever paperwork that does go out from here forward is very clear as to what program they're signing up for. I brought a couple examples if anybody, you know, is at all interested. I mean, it's nothing rocket science. It's just, you know, it's just a new type of, I didn't call it registration because we're a little bit past registration, but for the preschool room, for the preschool kids, I couldn't even put on here, I'm signing up for this program because there were people were coming such bizarre times. So I ended up having to put, you know, a line that said, you know, your child's currently in this program, and I'd write it down. 2 days, whatever, and your monthly tuition is this. With the school age, it was a little bit clearer, but and this way they're checking off. This is something moving forward that, you know, Megan should get a copy of this so that she has exactly, there should be a change form if somebody does change, you know, days or times or whatever. And then I created a thing where if somebody does drop in, there's actually a form. So, you know, a paper trail that we can, at least if somebody says, what do you mean I was charged 2 extra hours, you know? Well, there's something that says, you know, on just December whatever, you were here from 3 to 5 or whatever it is. So that's you know, that's me. It's great people to work with, flexible, you know, very cohesive staff that I think is remarkable. Really, really great. I'm very impressed. Very impressed. And so they've been lovely to work with, and you know, I think it's going well. Are there any questions? No?
I have a question. Back in the day when we had funding within our budget at the Children's Center, we used to try to go annually to the NEUIC conferences. And I know it was a little bit expensive, but it was very motivating for the teachers. It's the National Association for Early Childhood, blah, blah, blah. But there were workshops, and we would go in and we would find workshops that pertained to our age group. And it was over 2 days. It was either in San Diego or Long Beach. We would stay local. And it was really beneficial. It would be great, you know, to continue.
Yeah, I went
2014.
Yeah, I went every year, and it's usually in November of the year. I'd have to look, but you have to find out. You have to see when is it going to be in Anaheim, because otherwise it's, you know, I went to Washington, I went to you know all these other places, and it's so energizing. You know, and short of that, you know, the other thing, you know, as I was mentioning it to Greg, with staff development, you know, you bring somebody in, you know, somebody that's, you know, focused on early childhood literacy, or, you know, something that, and it does get people energized. And, you know, what I'm hoping to do when we do a staff development today is, you know, sharing ideas can be very energizing. You know, bringing in some of the stuff that I've done before, and, you know, I certainly am surrounded by staff who have wonderful ideas to share. I always wanted to be at a place where I'm learning something, and I do, and I love that about being there. So, I mean, the NAUIC conference is expensive, and I have to look. You know, I haven't been there for, I guess it'll be 3 years.
I think the in-house staff development is a really good alternative to that.
Yeah, and you know, as I said to you,
cheaper.
Right. I mean, I brought somebody in just to talk about gardening and how we can get the kids gardening. And you have people in your community, I don't have to go far. That was to help us do that outdoor classroom and to become certified. Yes, ma'am.
I just wonder, is there any marketing going on, like with the Trabuco or Chapman Hill schools, like with their open houses? Or for the preschool programs, is there marketing in place at all?
Not really, and I'll tell you why. I don't think we've been in a place to feel like we're ready to market. You know, I think that's why I'm saying January. I mean, if you walked in today, I think you'd want to tell your neighbor, hey, check it out. And I don't think you would have said that, truthfully. Am I misspeaking?
Yeah, I felt that way too.
Yes.
I have a question. What's the status on the accreditation? I know that the school.
NAUIC accreditation?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, I'll tell you that, the schools that I know, at least the Jewish preschools that were accredited, a couple of them are continuing, some are not. It is super expensive. It is labor intensive like you can't believe. I personally, you know.
Is there a benefit?
Well, you know, again, you know, if somebody goes to the NAUIC and they type it in and, you know, your school's listed, but truthfully, I never had one person, you know, in the 7 years that I was at, you know, TBS or when I was at the JCC, say, you know, what do you mean you're not accredited? You know, when you can give a tour that explains what you're doing there, and when you have a staff that is qualified and wonderful, you know, to me, it's a huge expense. It takes hours and hours and hours, which should be paid to staff members, to teachers.
So basically,
yeah, I wouldn't even look at it, to be honest with you. If I was going to focus on something, I would focus on some sort of outdoor classroom certification.
The Nature Explorer,
I
think, would benefit us greater than the NAUIC.
I agree with you.
And it'd be a lot cheaper, and that's what we're already striving for.
Exactly. I mean, you know what? I walked in the other day, and this was after, you know, looking at that notebook. McKenna had done all these pots and pans that were hanging on the fence with the instruments, and the kids were just loving it. So, you know, creating those kinds of sound gardens, and you know, it doesn't have to be expensive. You know, Craigslist is my friend. Garage sales, you know, like this. So, yeah.
I actually made contact, he called me back to my neighbor's, Dr. Cummins from the Department of Education. And I asked if he would be interested, if he could help us out in some way and give us some thought. And he said he thinks that there's some things that they can help us do. So what I'll do is I'll put you in touch with him. You guys in touch, and then you can see what.
Good. Yeah, you know what? There's lots of ideas that, you know, we would welcome, and yeah. I brought you I tried to send it to the board members. Did you guys get the newsletter? That I thought I sent it to everybody. Yes.
Arthur Cummins also has a nonprofit foundation called the Joyful Child Foundation, so you might want to talk to him about that.
Joyful Child.
That was on TV, right? On Channel 3?
Yeah, it's like nationally. It's
a
national.
So,
yeah.
Arthur. There could be some grant money there.
Yeah. The lady that came to do the inspection said that wanted to know if we knew anybody that attended Saddleback Church, because she suggested that that they have a lot of money that and they're right here in the neighborhood, really. So if you have any contact there or anywhere, that would be wonderful. Mostly, I think schools grow from word of mouth. So you know, it's from you all, and it's from you touting the school, and you know, hopefully it'll grow. I know that Jenny said she gave a tour yesterday or the day before, or no, I guess it wouldn't be the day before. I think it was yesterday. You know, two twins that are looking for part-time in January. I spoke with somebody that's their child's going to turn 2 in February, is looking for full-time. Yes, a couple of full-time kids makes all the difference. I mean, it changes. You know, a couple of kids. It's not huge. So, pardon me? It is. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, it's not like you don't need to find 30 kids to make this school thrive.
One other thing I noticed, my husband does a lot of work with Dawn Lynch, the realtor, and she makes these wonderful brochures when she's selling a house, and she highlights on there the SMRPD and our parks and recreation centers, the children's center, and other stuff for our community, and it really helps, benefits us. It's great if we thank our local realtors.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I think, you know, if anybody goes to like a mommy and me class, that kind of thing, even if we started to do one, if you have the people, that's a great lead-in. We used to do that there, and that's a great lead-in. Want those 2-year-olds. That gives you lots of years with them.
All right. Any more questions?
Any more questions?
All right, let's move on.
Okay, I'm just
two babies are born on my street this month.
I got a baby too.
Sign them up.
Oh, just lastly, I made a quick wish list, which includes outdoor storage cabinets, like, you know, the Suncast or Rubbermaid or whatever. Really need that. Greg had suggested some kind of roof, like short roof thing for where we can park the bikes underneath, and you know, they'll stay nice. Love to have some playground sand, you know, playground quality sand. That's kind of an essential in my opinion for the outdoor area.
Would Thompson Supply have that?
I don't know.
If they do, I'll do the hauling.
Thank you.
Are we going to dig it out of the old sand area and replace it with new sand in the back of the yard?
I think that we should take a look and sort of decide, you know, what areas. I mean, it's beautiful back there, that big tree. It's beautiful. So, you know, wherever we would do it, but I think you kind of need sand. And then we got this copy machine for free, and something is not working correctly. If you know anybody that, yes. Do you know something about that?
Last time I looked, I was an electronic technician. So I'm not saying I can fix it, I'll still look at it.
Yeah, we need somebody that can work in one of those about the size of your washing machine copiers.
Laser.
It needs the new little rubber things to suck the paper in. It won't. You know.
A lot of times you can take a solvent.
Okay. Well, how about if you go visit her?
Alcohol works good on it. I'm still working on your gardens. I'm towards an early spring for the community gardens and for your garden.
Lovely.
So when I get over there, what I'll do is I'll come over, I'll bring a few tools, and we'll see what we can do.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question on the amount of enrollment that's there now. How many kids do you think it would take if we had 2 more 2-year-olds, 4 more 2-year-olds? How many would be a good number to get it to where it pays for the teacher and the staffing and the electricity?
I think that if you had 3 full-time kids,
would get it to that level.
I think so.
So then if we do, my question on top of that is, so if we do volunteer to fix up the facility, it would be worth doing because it would only take 3 more kids. If it was like 20 kids, and I'd be like, well, why do I want to spend all my time fixing the building?
Right.
If, you know what I mean? If that to me is a grasping type of a number where it would be worth our effort to go that route. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential there. You know, Yeah,
It's always been our thing, we need like 3 or 4 full-time equivalent kids and we're fat and happy.
Yeah, that's when I was on the board, we
Yeah.
only needed like 3 or 4 kids then too, you know, so I was just curious what that number still is.
Yeah.
Can we go to Saddleback Church and maybe make a presentation? There are so many kids there. And maybe try to capture some of those?
Yeah, I thought, you know, I mean, there's lots of, do they have their own preschool? If they have their own preschool, they probably won't allow us to do that, but I think, we're gonna have a presence at the Christmas in the canyon. Yes, there you go, and I put it in the newsletter. So, I know, you need to go, and the last thing is school-age chairs. They're cracked. Okay, I'm done. Stop talking, here you go. I'm going to use this. Okay.
I just wanted to add to Shay's comment before about Thanksgiving, that, you know, keep in mind this year that Hanukkah is coincident with Thanksgiving. You know, so
it's my first Thanksgiving and that I'm serving latkes. I just want you to know.
It'll be interesting to smell, you know, roasting turkey and potato latkes.
I'm telling you, that's right. I'm not doing the matzo ball soup that day, but I am making latkes.
To keep your recipes and menus current and ready, because it will happen again in 80,000 years.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you guys very much. Thank you. You're welcome to come and visit. Please, we'd like to see you.
Thank you, great job.
Bob, did you have a So, next item under other district business is, I was thinking that, you know, we get this many people that come to our meetings, but we've got, you know, like 1,800 people that live out here, and I'd like to see if the board's okay if I start roughing up some kind of a, where we are, where we've come from. A letter, like a state of the district letter. Notice this letter? No, a state of the district letter. Where we are, here are our finances, here's what we're doing with the Silverado Children's Center. You know, so everybody will kind of be on the same page of where we're at.
Where would that letter go?
Well, we distribute it to all the people. We'd have to figure out how. Maybe it would go into Canyon Feed.
Or you could put it in the Century, like, you know.
That's what I meant. The Century, yeah, in the Century.
Okay, so basically it's just
State of the district. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Do we still have a bulk mailing option through entertainment?
Oh, well, maybe through entertainment, not our own.
Yeah, no, entertainment.
Somebody said when there's bulk mailing that it's all on the floor in the Silverado post office. Anybody else notice that?
It's what?
That all the bulk mailings up on the floor at the Silverado post office.
Pretty much, yeah. Except maybe for the city. Okay. Thank you. Next, so I'll work something up and come back with it in a month. Might be a couple months before I get back. Policy on media coverage. After the last couple press releases, we thought maybe it was time to formalize a policy. So I said something to Linda, and Linda roughed one up, and everybody should understand it's the first rough draft. It's not a finished product. It will not be voted on tonight. I don't. Unless somebody else wants to do that, I wouldn't. So I would want us to look at it. I thought maybe we should send it to a committee. So Shay volunteered and Linda volunteered. If the rest of us want to come, because it's kind of important, it's one in our policy, you guys should set a date at least a week ahead. If the rest of us want to come, we convert it to a special meeting, and that'll just be the whole topic, or it'll be a special meeting if more than 2 of us go. So are you guys okay with working it out?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So,
Are there members of the public we can invite, like Bob?
Can invite
I think
anybody.
you should have a special meeting and
Yeah.
invite everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I think you should have a special
Just
meeting.
have a committee meeting.
We'll have a committee meeting
Linda was
first.
talking.
Okay. A special,
Well, I mean, I can't
Special-
hear everybody's talking over her, so. Well, just have a, you know, one of your meetings where the public is invited to just go in there and talk
okay,
about
so
a certain topic.
this is a regular meeting.
Yeah.
Special meeting is any meeting of the board that's not on this 3rd Tuesday or 4th Tuesday.
Right.
Okay? Committee meeting is just the two of them, or two of any board members plus anybody else that wants to go. You can all, that's all wide open. So you guys are gonna be the committee, you work it up, bring changes back. If the rest of us wanna go, then we make it a special meeting, but the public's always welcome to all those meetings.
Yeah. And on committee meetings, you still post an agenda 72 hours ahead of time. So it's still like a meeting, but it's a committee meeting, so it will be posted so the public can know.
It just means that all members don't have to be there.
Right, but if the three board members who aren't on the committee want to go, we have to know in advance because the special meeting notice, that meeting notice then has to say it's a special meeting, not a committee meeting.
Some time ago that other board members could go as long as they didn't contribute.
It's not safe. It's not safe, is what the attorney said, it's just not safe. But you could go theoretically and sit in the back and not talk, but why bother? Just tell us if we're, so we should just take that our way we work.
Should work that out.
Yeah.
See if everybody's interested, we should probably just schedule a special meeting.
Yeah, the whole reason to have committee meetings with a whole board is to have a committee meeting so the two directors can work out all the specifics. So when they do come to the regular whole meetings, they give a report to the board, and that's why you have committees. So there's no reason to have all the board members there.
No, you missed the point, I think, is if the whole board wants to come because they think the topic's that important, it'll change from a committee meeting
Well, I
to
understand
a...
that, but I mean, why you set up committees is so the whole board doesn't come, so that you can trust your two people to do that work for you. So when you do bring it to the whole board, then you can have the same discussion, but with the report from the committee.
Yeah, the idea is then you don't have a long discussion where everybody chimes in again. So if you think you want to chime in, go to their meeting, let us know.
And do you want to also
We'll get there.
move this
I think so.
to that? Can we work on this also within the committee?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Okay, next item. The next regular board meeting would be on Tuesday, December 24th, and I have no permission from my household to be here. So I suggested to the board that we move it to Monday, the 23rd, and maybe, actually I suggested to Lindy we move it there so everybody could see the place, but she doesn't think it's quite ready for prime time yet. So I'm suggesting we have the meeting here, maybe we'll have coffee and cookies and an agenda and transmittals, and maybe that'll be a really short agenda. Is that okay with everybody?
You want a motion?
It's okay with me.
Do we need a motion to change the meeting date?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to change the meeting date to December 23rd. Short meeting with cookies and cream.
Hey, Bill.
I'm Prozac.
Still 7 o'clock?
Linda did.
Yes, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. All in favor? Aye. Passed unanimously. Tom, do you have a Christmas in the Canyon update?
Yes, I do. Our small but dedicated group has been working very hard to put on our 3rd annual Christmas in the Canyon event. We do hold our meetings here every Monday. Everyone is welcome. We can always use help. There's a poster up there. There's one in the post office, one at the cafe, and I'm going to give that one to Lisa to take to Modjeska and post. The event is sold out this year as far as vendors. We're full vendors. We have wall-to-wall entertainment courtesy of Zach. We have some Pelzer Pines has donated 2 Christmas trees as they have in the past. It's a really fun event. It's just open to the public, free. We have a hayride wagon. Canyon Watch will be helping us. What's that?
I'm gonna need a comment when you're done.
Okay, yeah, and Connie's gonna need some help. We have a hayride wagon pulled by Dick Berkman's tractor that shuttles people from the parking area to downtown Silverado, because there is no parking in downtown Silverado in that event. The cafe is serving some fare for the, it'll be food, and it is a rain or shine event.
Pray for no rain
Pray
that
for,
day.
pray for shine. Pray for shine. The newspaper that we put out every year is actually at the printer now and is due to be picked up tomorrow. So we will have that. There's an abundance of those papers. We welcome you to take a handful to wherever you want to go to work, to your home, to shopping center, any place that will put them out there. That's how we get people here. We use that little country newspaper, and it's been very successful. We do need some help. In the past, Joel has been our greeter, but he's allergic to the fumes of the tractor. So we have a greeter, but we do need some help with that. Which actually what we have is just people that help people on the hayride, keep your feet and hands inside, kind of safety monitors, runs over to the gas station, they dismount, help them off, somebody else gets on and runs people back. So there's a shuttle going back and forth continually. So just somebody kind of a monitor to keep track of things. There's a lot of activity. I don't know, Mary, did you have something that you wanted to say about the event?
On Saturday, December 7th, at 9 o'clock, probably from about 9 to noon, we're going to be decorating downtown Silverado. We would like as many people there to help. The lights are going to be going up. Tinsel is going to be wrapped around all the poles. Bulbs are going to be hung. Things hung on light switches, on the light poles. So we'd like everybody to come help decorate.
That's December 7th on a Saturday at the cafe. Please come by and just lend a hand. We've got staple guns and tape and things, and we're going to hang garland and decorate the town. Connie, did you have something?
A couple of things. I just want to be clear because I told you one thing, and then Mary and I had a brief discussion, and I wanted to be sure we're all on the same page. She said that Eric Gunter was going to chase down the hay for the wagon, and so since I told you I wanted to make sure we were all on the same page on that. And for the library and the store, they beg you not to take up their parking spaces for their staff and for their staff and their customers.
Yes, what we do, and Rick Schultz is the site manager and arranges the booths and so forth. We do allocate. There's a handicap spot at right in front of the store for anyone that wants to park there that's handicapped, has a placard. We do leave some of the area in front of the store free for people to come and go. And also at the cafe, we're asking that people we're asking you to actually walk there or park here and take the shuttle, because what we're trying to do is keep the traffic away. Across the street from the center is Rod's Place, that's right next to the post office. That is reserved for vendors. So vendors will come in, unload their wares, their goods, set up there and move their vehicle across the street. So that area is going to be taken up. The cafe parking is hopefully going to be available for people that want to come in and have something at the cafe and leave and not stay there all day. And yeah, and there's no parking at the gas station. That's the turnaround for the thing. So yeah,
I promised I would pass on a message, and I
thank you.
Do what I said.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your help. We really, and Connie could use some help. We've got Canyon Watch. We can use a few people out there.
We should clarify.
If anyone has any questions on the event, yes.
How are you doing on decorations? Have they been worn out over the last couple of years and you need more donations of decorations, or are you good with decorations?
Well, thank you for asking. We do have some decorations, lights and some ornaments and so forth. Every year we burn through the garland. Mary is going to go to the 99-cent store and buy a whole bunch of garland. Thank goodness for the Kearns kids. They're painting the signs for us. We do have some help. We're going to erect some signs, as we have a big sign at the mouth of the canyon. So we do have some decorations. And the Children's Center, which we talked to, we got them involved right near the end. They have the little space right in front of the restaurant, Carl's Place. And Santa Claus, oh, by the way, I almost forgot the big important thing. Santa Claus will be arriving by sleigh. We actually had constructed, or I came up with the idea, Bob Click and Eric actually built the sleigh, put it on a little trailer. It's going to be pulled by President Bates's red pickup truck with a nose on it and antlers to make it look like it's going to be the unparade from, and that's the other thing, we have the unparade, so anyone that wants to join us with a little vehicle or something and decorate it in the holiday theme. Come down the canyon, Santa arrives at 10 o'clock, is available for photos with the kids till 1 o'clock. And so it will be a fun time. It's $5 for the photos, everything, the entrance is free, the ride's free, we do take donations. A lot of great prizes, there's great raffles, so a lot of good stuff happening.
So where are we getting the hay then? Are we gonna get it?
The hay is from Eric. Eric has offered to do the hay. Connie, you did offer, and I do appreciate
I
that.
just want to make sure that you don't look at me and go, what happened? And I just wanted to make sure you understood that I believe that somebody else had.
No, Eric is doing it. Ironically, I ran into this guy at the cafe, and he used to live in the canyon, and we started talking, and I recruited him. He's not only the greeter, he's giving us hay, and he's building the sleigh, and he's helping out put the signs up, so we kind of got him to do a lot of stuff.
There's 2 bales, but they were out in the rain, I don't know how wet they are.
Yeah, what we need is a row of bales for the wagon, so people can sit in the center, and then we need a semicircle around the bandstand for the entertainment, so people can sit there. I do have some tarps that we cover in case it gets a little moist. Again, we're hoping for sunshine, but if it's a little moist, we can cover it. So, if anyone's got any questions?
Are you borrowing the hay, and is it food hay and taking it back, or what we've been doing at the fair, just to simplify things, we've been renting the straw bales, and they deliver them and pick them back up, and we pay a lot less for them.
What happened last year is Corey Sloan donated hay with the understanding that we would return it to him. However, it rained.
Yeah.
So it destroyed the hay.
Yeah,
So
right.
he was out $135. So what we're gonna do is, even if we have to buy the hay, this year we're gonna make some money on this. We've accumulated a lot of assets over the last couple of years as far as decorations and things. We're not spending that much money. We do have, again, we have more ads in the program than we ever had. Our vendors are full. We kept the prices down, so it's a fun event. It's people are happy with it, and we just hope we have to do it. Yes.
I would be willing to buy the hay from you. Or some bales of the hay from you at the end.
Well, thank you.
Some for building water retention.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll see what.
I buy about 6 or 8 bales from you afterwards.
Okay. Okay. We'll keep that in mind right after the event, and we'll get in touch.
I was going to ask if I can have it.
Oh, sorry, honey.
Well, Eric does have livestock, and that's how he brings in the hay, so he may want it back. So,
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks everybody for working on it. It's turned out to be pretty cool this year. Next item, final FEMA report. I'm glad to announce that Linda May has sent everything off to FEMA, and they've sent us all the money that we've been able to wrangle out of them in any manner whatsoever. And so Linda said we did better than we thought we would. And would you like to give more report? And
yeah, I can be relatively specific. The total expense for the whole project was, including all the emergency cleanup and all of the cleanup in Building A and moving the old shed, as well as the mobile home. It's not just, keep in mind, folks, it's not just the mobile home. The total project, we spent $156,863.70. And the Capri insurance covered most of it. That was the check that arrived, the $86,000 check. We'd gotten $42,000 from Capri earlier, so most of it was covered through Capri. FEMA and CalEMA covered a substantial portion of the rest of it, and so our total out-of-pocket was very close to minimal. And thanks to a generous contribution from Bruce Newell for his architectural work and some other anonymous management consultants, we are practically at having a mobile home replacement for nothing.
Wow. What was the final dollar amount?
For the mobile home?
Yeah, we actually spent. What was the final dollar amount we actually had to spend?
$156,833.
That's what we spent?
Yeah. Oh, in total?
Yeah, what did we end up spending after all the discounts and freebies? or whatever.
What was out of pocket?
Yeah, what was that?
Yes.
Our total out of pocket, $877.40.
Nice.
Wow.
0.001%.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank Linda. She's been kind of shepherding that project. And she's almost done, but not quite. She'll be talking with Bev and Megan later so that the records all go someplace where you can do something to them. Thank you.
Did we determine that that audit letter that came in has been done?
Oh.
They got a second request for the FEMA.
Yeah, this audit letter came in, as far as we can tell, it was from before, like maybe the solar. So I called the people and they said, well, we had less than $500,000 in federal awards through the years, so I signed it and sent it back and it's all done.
So you have the second notice, we don't, you know,
Next item on anybody else have any questions or thank yous for Linda?
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda. I gotta thank her for buffering my radical brother-in-law.
All right. Next item is, since we are now audio and video recording, we have to come up with a video and audio recording policy. A lot of groups that do this, they only keep them until the minutes come out. But we thought that since we went to action minutes, the action minutes are our official record of the meeting. But if anybody wants to see everything that got said, that's why we have audio and video. I think we should just keep them for a while, but we need to make a policy up on it. So maybe.
I don't plan on destroying the videotapes and keeping them marked.
Ron's fixed something at you.
I created a SMRPD YouTube site, so we have some on there now.
And I think we get to keep them there for how long? Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of any limit, so I can upload the audio to it also.
Unless you delete them.
Yeah, you have to personally delete them if you create the account.
Or the company delete it. No, the company won't delete it.
Told you?
Unless it's a violation.
The 12-year-olds already know. Okay, so I wonder if we can send it off to the currently active policy committee, and you guys can work on that too?
Yes.
Okay.
A quick thing with the actual physical tapes, because I know sometimes digital stuff can be erased and you can lose it, just in case something crashes. And my father, he ran the public safety for Ceres, the city of Ceres, for fire and the police. And what they did, not that we need to do that, their bank actually offered them a safe deposit box to put all the tapes in. But in Modjeska, there's a room over there that has been sectioned off for files. And we can relock it and get new keys so that there's new keys and that the keys are distributed appropriately. And just keep them locked up, all the tapes themselves too. So we actually have the physical tapes locked up in a file.
And Mike,
where?
Are they physical?
Are they physical tapes?
Back rooms of what? The fire department or what?
Those are.
Community center.
Yeah, it's old school.
But is it literally a tape or DVD?
Tape.
You could put them all on DVD.
I think they should be transferred over to a more archivable medium.
Well, they are on the
Blu-ray
computer.
or
They're online also.
They're on YouTube, so
Those are the originals.
okay, so
Raw.
my thought was, we're just doing this for fun. We don't have to do it. So it's on our YouTube site. You put it on YouTube.
We just put it on YouTube so anyone can go see it.
So it's in two places on YouTube, so I don't know if the tapes are kind of expensive, and I don't.
Yeah. Unless we do it with a laptop and we have just a webcam, we can do it that way and then just do it digitally. Which would be easier because then there's no switching of tapes, so we could just do the whole thing on digital.
But
we don't have that equipment.
Yeah, I need a laptop.
Okay,
How long does one of those tapes record?
You guys will
Right now
work
it's
on it.
set
Thank
for
you.
90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the quality of tape you have.
Okay, next item, ordinance for signage for skateboard equipment usage by the public. So Brett got donated to us a year or two ago some skateboard rampy stuff. And so Brett and Shay started working on what do we have to do to make it work. So Shay, go ahead.
Here's Okay, so the equipment is high quality portable equipment, and it was donated to Brett by, they just said somebody come and pick it up, so Brett went and got it. It's from a company called Fresh Park.
Etney
This-
Shoe Company is who donated it.
What?
Etney Shoe Company?
Etney Shoe Company had it in one of their, you guys can pass these around, there's signs on the back. In one of their demo rooms where pro skaters come and play and hang out. It wasn't from the skate park, because everything down there is permanent. And so it's been sitting, waiting for a couple of years for approval and a follow-through with the board. And so we thought, well, let's do it. I saw kids running around 2 weeks ago with skateboards all around the canyon, and they had nowhere to go. And then a neighbor in Cabin Land takes a bunch of kids down to the Etney skate park, and he's a pro skater from England. He might be showing up. And they saw the equipment back there and just went goo-goo gaga. So we thought, well, this is the time to do it. So talked to Capri. Our Capri risk manager happened to come out last week to meet us for the first time because he's new. We set up a piece of it, and he looked at it and he said, you've put signage on that saying, you know, that people enter at their own risk and that it's not being managed, and you're good to go. It's quality equipment. So then we found out on the state code, government code website, where we are not held liable if we do everything right. To have a skate park, we must have an ordinance. So this is going to be a little more detailed. And ran it by our council, our district council, our attorney, and she helped us find verbiage from another district under our same insurance company that had a skate park, and we just changed the ordinance and gave ourselves a little more freedom to not be so strict on issuing citations. She put a little more verbiage in there where we can decide to, you know, give a little more leniency to verbal warnings before citing someone, and the citations are pretty low dollar, so they're not really going to hurt anybody. Once this ordinance is voted and not repealed, and 30 days goes by and we actually have it, sometime between there we can put this equipment out, and it'll be over on one half section of the blacktop. So we won't take the whole basketball court, but we can put it on half of the basketball court. That way the little bit of people that come to play basketball, they'll still have a half court. And we'll have a half pipe and 2 sliding rails for now. It's about $3,000 to $3,500 worth of equipment, just what's on those pictures. So we must, in order to have recreation with skateboards at our facility, we must do this as according to state law.
I have a question. Who's going to manage this? In other words, you kids got to come with helmets and knee pads, and what if somebody just shows up without them and starts using it?
Well, yeah, according to this, if Steve's here and he sees, or you're driving by, I'm driving by, he happens to be here, or even a parent is here with their kids and sees somebody, you know, they can get a warning. But we will actually tell them they can't be here, and the signage says they can't be on it without helmet and at least elbow pads.
So does this release us of all liability?
Yeah.
So no need for
If we have it posted with the signs and we have this ordinance in place, if they're skateboarding without a helmet, we're not liable for them. They're entering at their own risk, and we can actually follow through on having them removed from the facility, and a sheriff can come. A sheriff can be called if they're
I would see someone would have to be, at least initially, pretty much monitoring it on a regular basis.
These are the rules for...
They don't monitor the basketball court.
Unsupervised. This is the rules for unsupervised
Yeah, but they
cars.
have to have helmets and knee pads in the basketball.
Okay, can I have a...
Most people do because they want to.
So these rules apply to an unsupervised skate facility, which is what we are.
Okay.
And it absolves us.
All liability, even if they are wearing all the equipment.
This is the ordinance.
And so if we do the reading tonight, then we'll do the next reading, maybe at the December meeting, unless we don't spend any time. Okay, so we have to do an ordinance, we have to read it at 2 different meetings, and then after the second meeting, 30 days later, it goes into effect. So we can't put the equipment out until that time's passed, and until we get all the signs correctly at all the entrances.
If you're
Wait, no, Linda, you're not next.
Okay, just to clarify ordinance, by creating an ordinance is to give the sheriff the power to enforce the rules. And that's why you are forming this ordinance. It's like a parking ordinance or anything. Once you establish the ordinance, that way the sheriff, as he's driving by, can, on his regular patrol, will know, oh, we got an ordinance in this area, and he'll do a patrol, and that's why you're creating an ordinance, just so that you're giving the power to the sheriff.
The main reason we're doing it is it's required by state law and by our insurance.
Well, I understand that, I was just trying to understand how, I mean, if a bunch of kids show up and start using it, who's gonna?
Well, they break their helmet because they're not wearing a helmet, they're responsible for themselves.
So we're not supervising it, except at a certain time at night, Steve will go out and kick them out or shoot them. Because we still have this.
But we've covered our butts, so if they aren't wearing a helmet.
Yeah, that 10 PM thing, that's an ordinance that we have. So the sheriff.
Exactly.
Yeah, look, the sheriff.
Yeah, or anybody can.
And skateboard parks are like the #1 thing that parks are doing now, because there are new laws in place. So if you are recreating on wheels, that you can't sue people anymore. So we've really changed the laws so that people, because kids aren't playing on swing sets anymore. They're playing on, they want to fly in the air. You know, they don't want to play on regular stuff that we did when we were going after.
My skateboards have metal wheels.
Is there a similar ordinance to this in existence anywhere else?
That's where we got it from.
That's where this came from.
Oh, okay.
Another district.
And it came from where? Another
district in Hesperia that is also insured by our Capri Insurance.
And my next question was, and this is my ignorance, this is not something they taught in my law school classes, but I notice it says here, an ordinance of the board, etc., to adopt an ordinance, as opposed to creating or passing an ordinance. And I'm wondering if that wording is significant. And is the district actually empowered to pass an ordinance?
Yes.
Okay.
We are. You can hire rangers and they give you tickets for coughing too loud if you
Well, that's happening because I have an inhaler and I haven't had a cigarette in 8 days. And my system is getting rid of all that.
I know the equipment is designed for skateboards and the weight of, and the use of skateboards, but my gut feeling is it might be used for other wheeled vehicles. Is it strong enough for it
against
to
the
be?
rules.
Well,
It's
the
made for
rules,
bicycles as well.
that's what I'm saying, it's gonna be strong enough and because.
This is 500 pounds.
Okay, I was, because you know, it's, we did have the bicycles before next door, and so there's kind of a history of having, the use of bicycles in the area, and I have a feeling it's not only going to be used for skateboards.
Yeah, it's actually designed for both.
The signage though will hopefully discourage that because it says bicycles or skateboards and rollerblades.
It says it, but you
Yeah.
know,
It should say
I just want to make sure it's you know, it's sturdy enough for.
Bicycles are specifically prohibited.
We're not going to allow it. We'll be telling people to leave or park their bicycles. And they're not supposed to climb and jump all over it either. It's supposed to be for skating. For skating.
So who is going to get violations, the penalties, and things like that?
pretty much what we kind of anticipate is that we'll say, you're bad, you're out. And
Who's gonna say that?
Steve will say that, and they'll be out. They'll be out for a month, or we'll call, if they keep doing it, we'll call the sheriff and say, you know, these kids are down here, here's who they are, go visit them.
The sheriffs might want to come.
There is
Sorry?
a
Sheriffs
skateboard
the sheriffs might come more often, knowing that they have this option. They have the Good Hills High School. They have an unsupervised skate park, and I think the kids pretty much monitor. It's self-monitored. They do a pretty good job. They keep in control. I've even been down there watching them from things with the high school. I don't see them drinking and getting crazy. There's a roller derby group that goes out there. The kids are respectful to everyone. I haven't seen lots of accidents or fire trucks or ambulances going in there. You know, I'm really surprised, but they seem to do pretty well because they know it's something they want to go to.
See, it's good for your business.
There is a quarter pipe over in Modjeska. It's been there for a year that isn't even approved. It's in the park. And we haven't had one complaint. What I'm saying is, there's not going to be a big problem.
I like the idea of having something here for the kids. I think it's important. I was just concerned about abuse. Somebody, or even somebody from downtown going up and, hey, let's go to Silverado. Nobody's watching us and we'll go crazy. My favorite restriction here is number 6, no excessive profanity. A little bit's okay, but not a lot.
I mean, you're not using
There's going to be some, you know.
Okay,
So Betsy and we have seen this version.
Yes, yes.
So what I propose is we need a.
You can read it.
Yeah, what's a reading?
You have an introduction, which means you put it on the agenda, read the title, and vote to waive reading by title only, and then to introduce it, you must do a roll call vote.
So I would like to have a motion to waive the reading by title only. Is there a motion to do that?
Unless anybody really has to hear every word in it. That's why we passed them out.
To waive.
Here's another one.
I will give this to you, Bev.
Yeah, I do.
Victorious.
Okay, so is there?
Did you make the motion?
I just made it, yeah.
I'll second it.
Was it here?
We'll give
A
it to you.
motion to waive the.
We'll give it to
Oh,
you.
waive the reading.
Yeah.
Waive the reading by title
So,
only.
so the title is an ordinance, it's ordinance number 11-13-1, an ordinance of the Board of Directors of the Silverado Modjeska Recreation and Park District regulating the SMRPD skate park.
It is portable.
Okay, is there there's a move and a second, all in favor of waiving by reading the title only?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Okay. I'm sorry, we have to do a roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Shay?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Greg votes yes, too. Okay, so between now and our next meeting, when we'll do the second reading, everybody should kind of go through and see if there's anything, and see if you find anything you don't like, want to change, need to change. Like maybe we talked to Steve and he says, I'm not doing this, but he already said he did. He's a good guy.
You said open the park till 12 midnight?
Yeah.
No problem.
When somebody said roller derby, I saw him perk up.
That's right.
Women's roller derby. Do we want to schedule a?
We'll do it.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so,
but then that puts it 2 months away from
yeah, I know.
us. Horrible.
If we had a special meeting in the meantime for something else, we could do the second reading at your
I know,
meeting.
I know.
Okay,
That's all
so-
I'm saying.
So there we are, second reading will happen at the next meeting that we have. It has to be agendized, whoever makes the agenda, and then we go.
In 30 days from
Then there's other stuff that happens, it's not only 30 days, it has to go to the board of supervisors and be posted in certain places for a certain amount of time. It has to be put in a local publication that's sent out everywhere like a newspaper, so there's things we gotta do.
Should we thank the Petersons for bringing some recreation?
Ontario worked at Edney, Brett, previous board.
Bob, do you remember, is there a method to the madness of numbering ordinances and resolutions?
don't know what that is.
Resolutions, you can pick your own
Number.
Numbering system. We used to do it simply by the date, -1, -2.
Okay, that's what we did for this, so that's probably good too.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, policy on board attendance by directors.
Oh, I wanted to say one more thing for the skate park. There's gonna be kids in the canyon that are gonna wanna skate, and equipment is not cheap. So if anybody frequents thrift stores or has the wherewithal to buy any equipment and donate it to a worthy family, I wanna do that. I wanna get a little, supply of donatable equipment for certain kids. The elbow guards and knee guards aren't that expensive, but the helmets can range anywhere from like $50 to $100, so I just want to throw that out there.
So we could do that and not have that be an SMRPD part, right? Just be a local community.
Yeah, that could be a community thing. I just want to do that personally, not from the board.
Just put it on when you skate.
Not from the board. Yeah.
We might not want to have like a pile of equipment that anybody could just.
No, because it'll disappear. It'll disappear.
Or it might be substandard or something.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is at the parks, when they say knee pads and elbow pads, you should see what they wear. They're not wearing the big heavy duty ones, they have like these little risque little things. Okay, I see, I got it. You know, but the law has been stated.
And that's what Etnies does and it's fine?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing what the safety equipment, I mean, what they wear.
And skate helmets aren't like bicycle helmets, they're the rounder ones.
Oh, helmet's a helmet.
Yeah, helmet's a helmet, but skate helmets are those rounder ones.
They're not just padded yarmulkes.
They look like brain buttons. They look like brain buttons.
Only with a chin strap.
Yeah.
Okay, next item, Shay.
Sorry. The policy on board attendance by directors, this became the baby of the week, this ordinance. And so there's been no work on that. So this can go to committee, if that's okay, and work on with committee on policy committee.
Are you okay?
Is there a policy already?
There's no policy on board attendance in our board policy. There's none.
There's a law.
There's just a law in the what is Special District Act, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really do anything. So we can talk about it in a committee meeting and see what we can do. So there's city and county agencies have adopted their own. It needs to be within the board policy or bylaws of an organization, because that's really where it's found, and we don't have that. Our policy is pretty old. But I did see some articles online about city councils adopting their own and putting it into their city policy. So that's where I got it.
Okay, because normally when it's a law, it supersedes a policy, and our policy states that we abide by the laws that govern the special district.
Yes.
So wouldn't we already have, I'm just asking, wouldn't we already have a policy in the form of the law?
Yes, we would.
So then it's going to be just general policies that states we abide by the laws.
Right.
It could be that too.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Shay
Right
and
now,
Linda.
the two board directors are, myself and Linda. And then we'll have a group from the public to come to committee meetings. They want to help us with policy.
Our own board policy on that.
Maybe. Okay. Nothing else, so we go into committee reports. Do you have something from your recreation?
We're still, recreation, is right now Steve and I, but I believe that Linda has volunteered to be on that as well, correct? And so what we'll be doing, we're gathering up information right now needed, but there's no sense in having a meeting yet until we get the information that we need. So it's in different people's piles. Megan had some, Bev has had some, I got it from her, Lisa still has some, and then there's some that we have, and if we get it all together, we can put it all together and get a little more sense of control over what's going on in recreation, because it has certain responsibilities, and then the recreation committee has responsibilities, and so we're gonna try to work together. So I updated the Google Calendar with everything Steve had on different calendars yesterday, and I'm gonna finish with the two women that asked for information today. And then that's it for recreation.
Anything more, Ron, on finance we haven't already talked about?
Are we gonna come up with a budget?
Yeah.
Sorry, we have to figure out how much money's coming in before we can do that, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'll have that done within a few days.
The next 2 years.
I believe it was supposed to be done a while, and I know it always takes time and stuff, but
Since we never learned how to do one from anybody, we don't know, but
Well,
Bob
actually,
said he's gonna teach me.
Yeah, the way it was always done before, because our revenue, because Bob told me, that, you just sort of,
duplicated it.
whatever came in, yeah. But our revenue has been fluctuating so much in the last 3 years that we don't really know what our baseline is. Because we get the FEMA stuff coming in.
On unusual levels of income.
So we keep the regular tax base.
You've got things you know are gonna be non-repeating, it's very simple.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we have to think about too is since we're helping to subsidize the Children's Center for a while, we have to figure out where that's gonna come out of what we've been spending lately, so.
Did we come up with a cap as a committee on that, on what we're gonna spend as a board on that?
We kind of said we would do it through the end of the school year, and that's where we left it at.
Okay.
So we're waiting for Megan to kind of give us some idea of where that's going to be too. So obviously our eyes always glaze over when we do it. That's why we haven't done it, but we have to get it done. We're bad.
What do you think we put up so far? About 5,000 or so on the school?
No, 3 or 4 different, probably $8,000. $2,000 a pop.
I would have said 6, but yeah, 6 or 8 maybe.
Would be safe number. Amy, I talked to Amy the other day, and she did say that enrollment, periods of enrollment are January and then in the beginning of the school year. So she's kind of hopeful that maybe we might see a little bit of enrollment come in January. So if we have a grand reopening after we fix the school-age building on the outside, whoever's going to help us with that grand reopening and during that enrollment time would be really great. And Amy happens to be coming to town in late January, and I just think it would be really cool to do it then.
I'll see what I can do for getting some volunteers to fix outside that window.
Like the Ritz, is it the Ritz?
Yeah, I know
So,
Dawn, so.
I talked to her and they dropped over a piece of the stuff, so we're gonna hold it up and figure out how it's gonna go up, and then we'll have a group come in, the destruction committee, which I could be on, and then the rebuilding committee will be somebody else, and then Brett's volunteered to be on the painting committee, and so we'll just kind of go through and make it all in one fell swoop. Hopefully,
The way the fascia board's on that building, it has to be redone a little bit, so that the rain runs off the building and not into the building.
You might want to do gutters. You might have to upgrade.
It's an easy fix. I don't know.
Moving right along, okay. I don't have anything on open space and trails. Somehow all my time gets taken up by being president these days.
But I can come.
Okay, go ahead.
We've said before that we're getting close on those acquisitions. The last we heard was that state turned down the first proposal, so we're waiting for them to rework that. They actually brought up to us the possibility of giving us a couple more parcels, and each one of them will have some money attached to it. So the idea is that when the state accepts their proposal for that piece of property, of which we're going to be a part of that proposal, we'll bring something to the board and the public and hash out what we do with it, whether we accept it or not.
And on the open space, since we're working on acquiring these lands, I was thinking that it would probably be good to start having the open space meetings again, so that we can
I agree.
come up with, so once we get the properties, that we're already kind of one step, okay, here's how we're gonna do it, so we can start working on the management part of it. So then when we finally do get these properties, it all goes through and everything is agreed on with the specifics of, you know, all the things that have to go down. It'd be really nice if, as a district, we look really good and we already have a plan, a management plan in place.
And I, since, you know, I'm the one that prompted the discussion about meetings, you know, everybody knows I've been traveling for business, and I finally got guys staffed to handle it in different parts of the world, so I shouldn't have to be going as much. And that was one of the first things I wanted to do, was have these meetings together. I also have, when you said that reminded me, I've asked for and gotten permission from the fathers to GPS the trail, so that when it comes time to talk about getting that trail, we'll know exactly what the coordinates are. So we'll take my GPS up and hike it. We'll put
We can get that to you.
Sorry?
We write it all the time, we can get that to you.
Actually, if you could do that and just give me.
Yeah, I'll put that on GPS.
Yeah.
That's really simple.
Hey,
Wendy. I know this is probably off subject a little bit, it probably should have been at the open thing, but I was on the Riviera just yesterday or whatever, and there were some fellas from down the hill, and they were totally nervous about stepping foot on the Riviera. And, you know, because they're scared off by the signs that are there. And I just wanted to throw that out to SMRPD. So what's happening is it's discouraging people from coming up and enjoying the creek and anything like that. So it'd be really nice to have a different, you know, work with the Abbey and get a different kind of
wording.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so.
Cool.
I just wanted to say something on the open space and trails. When we were having those meetings, there was a lot of other discussion about other things too, you know, and it wasn't just the open space acquisition over there. So if we get those meetings going again, then we can talk about equestrian trails. We can talk about issues with trails that we're having and who's doing what. And the adopt a roadway kind of fell. We haven't discussed it now for over a year. So it would be really nice to get back into working on those things.
That'd be good.
Cool.
Well, that's my alley, so I'd like to be involved in those open space and trails meetings. And I had a quick question. What properties, just to clarify, what properties are you looking at getting?
The first one has been referred to in the past as the drop.
And I, you know, I threw that out there, and because I always kind of liked the collar property there with the trailers. I thought it would be good for the district to have that. So we've thrown that out there more than a few times, and
it's
they've nibbled at it. Sorry?
It's starting to stick. They're like,
yeah.
They're like liking us enough that they're like, well, get this first big property and let's make sure you don't burn it down and screw it to death. And then, maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud, but then if we do good on that one, I think the other properties are right in the way, and one of them has some Measure M money.
And they actually, the last time we talked, said, let's talk about that other property. And I said, no, let's get this one out of the way first. So.
How does the wildlands property come into play with TPL land and Measure M land? How does that?
It's privately owned by the Wildlands Conservancy, I think is right, privately owned by the Wildlands Conservancy. When they got it donated to them, the gentleman who bought it and donated it forgot to put any conservation easements on the property. So theoretically, they can, I guess literally, they can go out and sell it to somebody and it could become a single-family home, and they would then put restrictions on it. So nobody is very interested in seeing that happen.
They have done that. There is property, Wildlands Conservancy. You probably may remember this gal named Jody that came by. She is setting up a private outdoor school there. It is kind of, was that?
Yeah, I've talked to her.
Outdoor school, yeah. And actually, I bought a piece of property from them. So they are selling their property, but there are restrictions, you can't do anything on it.
Right.
So we'd like, if we can make it work, we'd like to do it. If we got the collar property with those two homes down there, that would we could quid pro quo, you know, rent for their reports, because when we get into real Measure M properties, we have to do biology reports every year, and so there's expenses that we maybe can't afford, and that should be part of the budget talk too.
I don't think that the Mesa is ever going to be purchased by Measure M, because it's too, and when I had my conversations with the OCTA and Dan Fu and those guys, you know, they're not going to tell me anything, but the impression I get is that's too broken up and too hard, that the value of that compared to other properties and the price is just, I think, I get the impression it's down the list, unless it gets more money.
Matrix, I know that the Baker Square, Holtz Ranch, into the McPherson property, into Limestone, that all has a connectivity all the way down to Lagoon Beach, and that's what they're kind of looking for, these wildlife corridors, so they can connect them. That's why they did the ones in Tribuco first, because they had a really easy, willing sellers for one, and they all connected all the way into Whiting. So they do look for that connectivity of properties.
Phil? Yeah, I had emailed you, Greg, about this, but you guys are all aware that the Silverado Modjeska Recreation Park District is part of the renewed Measure M coalition, correct? You all know that? Okay, good. Just wanted to check.
Meaning, what does that mean?
The coalition, the Inter Canyon League also is a member of the coalition, was voicing, basically saying you're voicing support for the Measure M mitigation idea and supporting renewed Measure M. When we were working on it to get it passed, the coalition is a group of environmental and other organizations which banded together and agreed to support Measure M and work for it. And considering it was passed with 54% of the vote, that coalition has been given some credit for actually pushing the measure through. So the reason I'm also mentioning this, you guys hopefully are all aware of that, is that the Orange County Transit Authority is interested in, well, first off, let me tell you that they collected, I believe, $243 million for mitigation purposes, restoration, land purchases and restoration. We spent 100, and maybe Joel, maybe you know this, 100, I think they spent like 123 million of it. OCTA right now is floating around the idea that, you know, oh, we've done enough mitigation. We're going to take this other money and go build bridges and more freeways with it. So yeah, there's a lot of people's, I mean, this idea has not been formally proposed yet, but it probably will be coming up that the coalition members will be asked to regroup, regather, and support the continuing proper usage of that money for what it was intended and not diverting it. You know, the government has a tendency to, like, when they get some free money, like, they want to grab it and use it for other areas.
That will require us going to hearings and...
Well, it might require a letter of support, might require some things. So, you know, there'll be more information on this coming up shortly, but I kind of just want to make sure you guys all knew that you were part of the coalition, as is the Inter Canyon League. So, and a whole lot of other organizations too.
And wasn't it kind of the 240 million was like the original number, then the recession hit?
That's correct.
And then they dropped down the amount of purchase money they had. So originally they had the 240 to purchase these open spaces for mitigation for the road building. And then because of the recession, it went down to the 130 million or whatever.
That's exactly right. It was quite stunning how it came back.
Yeah.
Because they were saying that it was going to be almost halved, I think, and now it's all come back again.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the economy's coming back.
So should the
so sorry, we're getting
off topic.
So anyway, we'll keep on it. Joel?
One last thing, real quick. Since our neighbor is OC Parks and we have to work with them whether we like it or not sometimes, just to maintain or actually probably enhance our relationship with them, there may be an opportunity in the new year Mark Denny moved up, the director, and now it's Stacy. And Teresa Sears with Friends of Harvest Beaches and Parks has a quarterly meeting with whoever the OC Parks director is, and it's an open meeting for all the different nonprofits and special districts and everybody to come and discuss anything that's on their mind that relates to OC Parks. Since we got the whole North Ranch right here and we're all using it and everything, and it's sort of a mystery sometimes as what OC Parks plans are. I'm going to work on trying to find out when this next meeting is, and yeah, so, and it may be the opportunity to have it here at the community center or at the children's center, or unless there's another place to have it.
Oh, that'd be great.
So
I've actually met with Stacy.
Yeah.
And she's seems really amenable to working with us. She actually sounded like she wanted to go out of her way to help us. It was a lot, with Mark, it was like pulling teeth sometimes. And I actually mentioned to Stacy about helping with the management of some of the trails over in Black Star, which are being actually done by Irvine Ranch Conservancy. I called and talked to Dave Rates and said, Dave, you need to give us some money to do some trail maintenance. And I said, just so we can show you what we can do. So we have to have that conversation some more still.
this will be an opportunity for the community to meet her and meet John Gump and all the people that. So that's it.
You know, in this conversation, it just brings up a point, because Ron, you're mentioning a bunch of stuff that you met with this person and talked to that person, and it'd be nice if you could make those reports when you have your open space thing, so we know who you have talked to and what the conversations were, et cetera. Yeah,
that's why I'm doing it here. And
yeah. Well, I mean, and it just came up because the conversations continued, so it could be part of your open space and trails, so we know who you have talked to and when it was and what the discussion was.
Sat down the other day and made a list of the projects that I'm working on, and it's 25 items long, so I forget what they are sometimes. I just start making phone calls and talking, and I'll do more to put it in here.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to know what our board members are doing, you know, with other either agencies or, you know, directors or whatever, because all of a sudden some of this is just like all new. I didn't know that. I thought balls had been dropped on a bunch of stuff, but you know, I think it's important that we know.
Yeah, the open space meetings will be nice once those start back up, because then we can all work.
Okay, so everybody knows I'm pretty sure we're going to get this big property, and it's less than 700 acres, it's somewhere way over 600. But I can see I can see some potential problems. It's landlocked property, so we haven't hammered out the easements with the other people. So I'm sure it's going to happen, but I'm not holding my breath.
You need to have a chat with me offline.
Okay.
Is this something more that?
No, this is enough for open space yet. Okay. Safety committee, you guys have a report?
Yeah, well, we had to get this to Capri early, so we did all of the inspections of the community center, Silverado Park, the Modjeska Community Center, Modjeska Park, and got all of this off to Capri. We have issues with gopher holes here, you know, are ongoing. We got to figure something out for that. There's a crack. I looked in the old minutes, and I think it was 2009, Bob, when you guys approved resurfacing the parking lot and the basketball court. Was it somewhere around there? It was like $6 grand,
yeah,
I think, and it would be great if sometime next spring, maybe we could look at maybe doing that again. We've got a lot of cracks, and if we're going to be doing rollerblades and skates and stuff over there, we're definitely going to need to fix the crack. There's a huge crack in the middle of the basketball court, and they keep filling it with concrete, but it gravels out and deteriorates, so it's a problem. But our facilities are looking as good as they can, and we're keeping out. Steve is he here? Yeah, Steve is just phenomenal. They're keeping everything going. I don't know how busy the previous maintenance guys that that worked here before were, because I was kind of new to the canyon, but man, there's a huge water leak in Modjeska Park, and he drives right up, and he's in there, and he's fixing it, and it's ongoing around here. And
Yeah,
kudos to
Okay, anybody else have any more comments that they want to bring up? No. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Oh, one more thing. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we adjourned at 9 p.m.
Happy Thanksgiving!
9 p.m. Hey, Bob, see you soon.